Terrorism has existed for centuries, however, it has increased over the past several decades. In February 1993, members of 5 separate Islamic extremist groups bombed the World Trade Center, killing 6 and injuring over 1,000 people. In May 1996, the World Islamic Front for Jihad Against Jews and Crusaders, which was sponsored by Osama bin Laden, began forming large bases in Afghanistan. This organization later became Al-Qaeda. In August 1998, Al-Qaeda members bombed the U.S. embassies in Tanzania and Kenya, killing 225 people and injuring over 4,000. In October 2000, Al-Qaeda members bombed the USS Cole as it was harbored in Yemen, killing 17 sailors and injuring 39. On September 11, 2001, Al-Qaeda-trained extremists launched simultaneous attacks on the U.S., killing nearly 3,000 Americans and injuring over 6,000 more. Shortly after September 11th, the war on terrorism began. On September 12th, the U.S. government responded to the 9/11 attacks by declaring a war on terrorism against Al-Qaeda in Afghanistan. The Bush administration also responded to the threat of terrorism domestically by creating new laws and attitudes, such as the USA Patriot Act and other immigration laws. The counterterrorism actions of the U.S. are a conflict between 2 competing justice perspectives: crime control and due process. The Bush administration opted for the crime control model after 9/11. The crime control model places an emphasis on the overall end goal of an action rather than the means to get to that goal. In other words, the ends justify the means. As a result of this philosophy, the Bush administration placed the protection of the U.S. and its citizens over the rights of Al-Qaeda and Taliban fighters, or those believed to be a threat to the United States. The Geneva Convention Treaties of 1949, negotiated in the aftermath of World War II, defined the basic rights of those captured during a military conflict. Specifically, Article 4 of the Geneva Convention states that members of militias forming part of armed forces of a conflict are included under Geneva Convention. Does that include the Taliban? Article 5 states that if there is any doubt to the status of captured enemy, they would be given protection by Geneva Convention until their status could be determined. How has the U.S. responded to the Geneva Convention? On September 7, 2002, the Bush White House stated that captured Taliban personnel nor Al-Qaeda personnel were entitled to the protections given to POWs under the Geneva Convention. These captured personnel would be classified as enemy combatants. The White House reasoned that the Taliban were not part of a military hierarchy, did not wear distinguishable uniforms, did not carry weapons openly, and did not conduct operations in accordance with the laws of war. There are many ethical concerns regarding the treatment of enemy detainees while in U.S. custody. For example, since 2002, the U.S. military has housed enemy combatant detainees at the U.S. naval base at Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. Many detainees have alleged ongoing torture, sexual degradation, forced drugging, and religious persecution being committed by U.S. military forces. Organizations such as Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch have protested the condition of detainees at Guantanamo Bay. As well, the Abu Ghraib prison scandal has brought the treatment of prisoners to the public eye. During the 2003 war against Iraq, many of the enemy combatants captured there were detained at the Abu Ghraib prison in Baghdad. Beginning in 2004, accounts of physical, psychological, and sexual abuse, including torture, rape, sodomy, and homicide of prisoners, came to public attention. As a result of that publicity, 11 enlisted soldiers were court-martialed, sentenced to prison, and dishonorably discharged from the military. Documents obtained by the Washington Post and the ACLU have shown that the senior military officer in Iraq, Lieutenant General Ricardo Sanchez, authorized the use of military dogs, temperature extremes, reverse sleep patterns, and sensory deprivation as interrogation methods in Abu Ghraib. The ACLU also obtained FBI documents sanctioning the use of extraordinary interrogation tactics by U.S. military personnel, including sleep deprivation, hooding prisoners, playing loud music, removing all of the detainees' clothing, forcing them to stand in so-called stress positions, and the use of dogs. Now we present an ethical dilemma. Consider the following scenario. The U.S. is currently at war with al-Qaeda terrorists in a country that we will call Farawaystan, located in Southwest Asia. During this war, many members and supporters of al-Qaeda have been captured by U.S. military forces. These enemy combatants are being detained at a U.S. military prison there called Camp Bravo. U.S. military personnel are responsible for guarding the detainees at Camp Bravo and gathering intelligence information from them as directed. The military interrogators have been given strict instructions of how much force they can use while interrogating the prisoners, in compliance with the Geneva Convention protections for POWs. The interrogators have been explicitly told that they cannot hit, punch, kick, waterboard, deprive prisoners of sleep, humiliate them, or otherwise cause physical or psychological harm to the detainees. One of the military personnel at Camp Bravo is Frank Smith. Frank is a U.S. Army intelligence officer, and his current job is to interrogate enemy detainees captured during the war on terrorism for any military intelligence. Frank is a good soldier who has always followed the rules and procedures. One of the detainees at Camp Bravo is Amir, formerly known as Henry McFadden. Amir is a U.S. citizen who was captured during an assault against U.S. military troops in Farawaystan. He has pledged allegiance to al-Qaeda and has been generally uncooperative with U.S. forces while in detention. It is believed by military intelligence personnel that Amir was a mid-level member of al-Qaeda and may have some valuable information about an upcoming terrorist attack against U.S. targets. Let's watch.